Hey guys, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this company Axial, which is a relatively new, I guess, knife and I guess everyday carry sort of company. Um, I guess first of all, excuse me for got a little band-aid on my finger. I've been clumsy and I cut myself twice today, so um, probably should stop playing with knives. Take that as a sign. But anyways. Um, Yeah, so talking about Axial here. So, uh, first of all, pretty cool company. They do have some stuff that's made in China, such as, I believe, their little box cutter, keychain, like box cutter thing, is made in China, as well as this toothpick, titanium toothpick, which it's got a little bit of damage to it. I've actually used it quite a bit. It's not, I guess you can't really see it too bad on the camera. There's a little bit of scratches on like in there, but still pointy, still very useful. Cool, very cool tool. Um, anyways, and I keep, both of these just go right on my keychain. As well as they also sell these little keychain loops, which I guess here I show my keys because I took it off of there, but they got these keychain loops as well. These are titanium. Then they're pretty cool as well. So yeah, they got some pretty cool products as far as, things that they sell are pretty cool. But all these, I believe, are made in China. Now this knife right here is the Axial Shift. And it is a OTF that is made here in the United States. You can got your American flag right there. It's, a little bit of American pride. So cool knife. And it's got 20 CV on the blade. I guess they have a S35 VN version as well, but I got the 20 CV one. I don't know if the S35 was available when I bought this knife. It might have been, but either way, I would have picked the 20 CV just because it's a little bit, more edge retention. So yeah, but. Cool knife, and it is fairly tough. I did use it to hack down a big old fat, it's probably like that big run. It was like a sunflower plant, and I was able to kind of hack through it, which is way kind of woody and everything, and probably beyond what an OTF probably should do. But I was able to do it with it. So yeah, that was kind of cool. One thing I will say on this knife though, and I actually am probably going to send it in for the warranty. And I should clarify that I hacked down the sunflower plant after I'd already kind of found a fix to my problem, right? So it wasn't like the issue was caused from me abusing the knife. It was actually before I even got to really use the knife. So when I first got this knife, first thing I guess you could probably tell, right, is with these screws, they're not set in the center there. They don't line up. They're all consistently just a little bit off, which is a little, I don't know, it's a little odd to me, right? Like their machining just isn't quite calibrated where it needs to be as far as that goes, right? So, but the real, and you can look past that. That's like an aesthetic thing, you could look past it, which for the most part I have. It really hasn't bugged me too much. And overall, I do think this knife is beautiful. It's like powder blue. It's anodized aluminum, titanium pocket clip. Overall, this really cool knife. So, I could look past that a little bit. Now, I guess the issue I had was actually the precision on the inside of the knife. So there's if you know how OTFs work, there's a little gate, right? That as you slide the action forward, it moves the gate out of the way. So it builds up spring tension, right? And then once you hit a certain point, right about there, right, there's actually lifting up, and there's little gate that's in the way that keeps the blade from springing forward as you're building up the tension. And then eventually, right, once you get to that point and you've built up the tension, then it releases and it pushes the gate out of the way so that the blade can sling out. So what ended up happening with this knife, when I first got it, right, was I pushed it all the way forward, right, and I can feel the spring build up, right, all the way forward, but that gate doesn't move out of the way. And so the blade doesn't spring out, right? So it just builds up spring tension, pushing all the way forward, but the blade is still inside of the knife. And so I'm like, okay, well, why is that not springing out? You know, so obviously I could have sent it back for warranty at that point in time. But the good thing about Axial, right, and this is the thing, is like, this was right when they switched to this new version, because they had an older version of this knife, the Axial Shift, with the kind of a slanted handle. And this was right when they came with the newer version of it, where it's more flat on the back. And so I just assumed that they had just barely kind of switched to this new design and hadn't had their machines fully calibrated, dialed in yet. And so I assume if you were to buy one now, you wouldn't have that issue. But I think that's what happened. Anyways, sorry. Let me get back to where I was going with that. So what ended up happening, right? And the reason why it wasn't springing forward is because that gate wasn't getting pushed out of the way as I slid this forward, right? And the reason that was is because in the milling on this aluminum handle part right here, right? The gate has a little channel that's where it's held in place, and it was too deep. And so the gate was actually falling either the channel was milled too deep in the aluminum handle, or the gate was too short, right? I think it was probably that the hole was milled a little bit too deep into the handle, just because the milling over here isn't exactly on either, right? So what was happening was that as I was sliding the thing forward, the mechanism supposed to grab the gate and move it out of the way was actually sliding on top of the gate. And so it wasn't moving the gate out of the way. So you could slide it all the way forward and the gate wouldn't move out of the way. It would just kind of go up to the top. And then if you were to let go, it'd spring back, right? Because it built up all that spring tension right here. And so, yeah, basically you'd have a bunch of spring tension if you were to let go, do a blink and come back, right? So what I did, being as Axial has a good warranty, supposedly, we'll find out because I am going to send this in, was when I took it apart, I basically just put a thin little piece of plastic that I cut out from some packaging, a really thin piece of plastic, set it down in the bottom of there, and that raised the gate just up enough. So now it hasn't failed since. Like it fires beautifully every time, right? And so it was just like that one minor little precision problem in the machining that made, the action of the knife not even work, right? And so I'm sure the Axial has addressed that, right? And I'm sure their new ones don't have that issue. So I probably am going to send this knife in for that reason, just because of that machining issue. Now, with all of that said, right, I really do like this knife, and I wouldn't discourage anybody from going out and buying it, because it does feel like a good solid knife, and the materials are, the materials feel really good on it, and the heat treat they did on the blade feels great, and it's held up really well. So, besides the fact that the aluminum on the actual body of the knife was machined just a hair off, I'd still recommend it. Still a cool knife. And you can, if you did have a problem with it, you can rest assured that they are an American company, and they are, they do warranty their products, right? Supposedly. We're going to find out when I send this in, but I believe that they will do a good job. And if they don't, then I'll make a follow-up video saying that they don't. And if they do, then I'll make a follow-up video saying how well they did. So, but anyways, this right here is the Axial Shift, and pretty cool knife. So there you go. All right, bye.